were together yesterday at the introduction and ribbon cutting of a very massive solar array at TAC Manufacturing. We have TAC Manufacturing Director Scott Sturgis and Vice President Consumers Energy Brian Rich. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bart.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Me too.
Very impressive. I think everyone familiar with TAC, you drive down County Farm Road and you see TAC, you see some of TAC. There's a lot to it that you can't really see from the road.
True.
How big a plant do you have?
Well, we are about 500,000 square feet under roof. So I'm not sure how that works out in acreage, but I think it's around 15 acres that we have under roof at the facility.
It's huge. And what do you do there?
So TAC is an automotive manufacturing part supplier, primarily shift levers, steering wheels, key sets, most things that are in the cabin next to the person driving that's within reach. So a lot of our stuff is very, we call it a Class A surface, or it's very quality intensive because you're touching it every day. So it has to have a lot of durability and a lot of quality built in.
Awesome. And you've been there almost the entire history of TAC in Jackson.
Yeah, I started in 1997. TAC started in 1991. So I've been there now about 27 years, 28 years at the end of this year.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, we're great to have TAC as an employer and a neighbor. You have some 800 associates?
Yeah, currently we have, including temporary associates there, we're right just over 800 associates in total.
Awesome. Pretty major impact on the community's economy. And for Consumers Energy, a role model now in renewable energy. What happened at TAC that involved Consumers Energy yesterday?
Yeah, it was really exciting, and all credit goes to TAC for their, their ambitions. But as you know, Consumers Energy is building out all of our renewable resources to get us to net zero carbon by 2040. But we have a lot of customers that are raising their hands and saying, "Hey, we'd like to get there sooner, and we'd like to do our part." And TAC Manufacturing was one of those. So it was an incredible day to celebrate their accomplishment yesterday. The entire facility, and Scott now talked about the size of it, is all now 100% powered by renewable energy, which is exciting.
And it goes on and on. We couldn't believe how big it is.
And actually, Bart, that's just part of it. That's that's the immediate stuff on site, and then Consumers Energy is also building a pretty big build out across the state to support TAC as well.
Now, I was listening to some in the audience as you were making your presentations, and someone said, well, it's cloudy today, plus at night, what happens? And you probably get, that question.
We do.
What is that?
Well, that's the partnership of what we bring, which is we can power the facility 24/7, whether the wind is blowing or the sun is shining. But what TAC did was they said, let's look at all of the energy consumption we use over a 12-month period and build out renewables to match that. So on a 12-month period, they're matching 100% of their energy. But to your point, in a 24-hour period, we're making sure that they have the reliability that they need to produce the product that they do.
Scott, for a company, is it your intention to be good stewards of the environment? Is there business sense in you using solar energy?
Sure, but primarily when TAC came in 1991, we wanted to make sure we were part of the community, but also we were a cutting-edge manufacturing site, and doing manufacturing in a sustainable way has become more and more important, both to us and to our customer. So our major customers are Toyota and Ford, and both have initiatives. Plus our parent company has been pushing us to further our own activities. So a lot of our improvements were first internal, trying to create efficiencies within the facility. We were able to reduce our energy use by about 25% just by becoming more efficient. And then after that, then we looked at other opportunities.
Brian, as Senior Vice President and Chief Customer Officer, cost is a customer concern. And when we were still new in green energy, it was at a premium for
Yeah.
the customer.
Mhm.
Is that still the case?
No, what's really nice, and you know, credit to TAC Manufacturing, I thought what Scott just said, it does a lot of justice, is it's not just, you see the solar panels and you see all the wind, but the amount of investment they've made in energy efficiency to actually make sure that they're running good equipment saves them a lot of money. And then to your point, Bart, solar costs and wind costs have come down dramatically. That's thing number one. And then thing number two is you see a lot of energy shocks, like for example in 2022 when we saw global events drive up gas prices. Customers that are using 100% solar are actually protecting themselves against those shocks, as well as inflation. So they fix their energy costs for the 20-year period that these solar facilities are in place. So turning out it's not just good business, as Scott mentioned, but it also helps them save money.
And this is pretty impactful on the state because that's the largest in Jackson County,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And there aren't many that are bigger in the state, are there?
Not that we're aware of, as far as, especially privately owned. There are the consumer solar fields, which are huge, but privately owned, we think it's one of the largest.
So are you making enough energy that you can sell some of your power to like Technique?
Not at this point. We consume 100% of it, and what we produce right now is about 20% of our remaining load. So we still have some more improvements we need to make, and that's where we partner with consumers to invest into their off-site solar to take up that remaining load that we have.
Yeah, and to see that, I mean, a couple of things that struck me. You don't see it. You do not see it from the road. You don't see it from, it's all back there tucked in. It's not on the landscape as you drive by. But you have a lot of land. So somebody like JTV, I don't think we have enough room to put, solar farm like on the roof or in our
Right.
backyard.
Mm-hmm. In Consumers Energy, I mean, we're building out 8,000 megawatts. So just to give you an impression of what that is, the TAC facility is 10 megawatts. So 8,000 megawatts of solar over the next couple of years. And then customers like you will be able to benefit from that at a lower cost because when we can build it at scale, you get the renewable energy whether you have the rooftop or the land like TAC does to be able to do. So rest assured, we're building out plenty of solar. And in fact, we're going to have bigger projects than the one at TAC. But that partnership of entities like TAC and then the large-scale stuff that we're doing really helps customers who may not have the facilities to do it.
We noticed birds living among the panels. I think several people commented about all the wildlife. Brian Wheeler made a point that the habitat, it really wasn't destroyed. The animals still, the swamp, everything's still there.
Yeah, we have a lot of, like you say, animals in that area, being kind of out of the city limits. But we haven't seen any diminishing of any of the habitat that we have tried to protect out there as we've done this installation.
And this is toward your goal of being entirely free from coal.
Yep, we'll be free from coal by next year, 2025, and we'll be free of carbon on our system by 2040. But it's important to talk about a customer like TAC because what they're doing is above and beyond the commitments that Consumers Energy made, and they're actually accelerating that transition. So it's really, we're really proud of our ambitions, but a day like yesterday is really celebrating a customer who says, we're going to do this faster and we're going to do it above and beyond, which is great.
So you went to consumers and said, we want to do this.
Yeah, we started with our solar project. We had the on-site array that you saw. At the same time, consumers had a program that was going, and that's when we went to consumers and asked to partner up with them to purchase into one of these solar fields that they had available.
So are there things, are there byproducts that you're noticing by being dependent on solar energy?
To this point, no. Beyond the cloudy days, it's new for us, so we watch it pretty intently as far as what we're producing and what we're not, because we have goals we want to hit as far as the amount of energy we're using, how much amount of carbon we're cutting. In general, no, we haven't really seen any negative impact at all.
No. So how does it work? Does the energy, it comes off the grid? And did you have to put like a room in TAC where there's some sort of device or equipment?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of equipment that had to be brought on. Obviously, we have the solar panels. Those bring in electricity in DC. We have to convert that to AC so we can actually consume it. But since it doesn't generate enough for us, we're still tied to the grid. So when we need that extra power, it's transparent to us. If it's coming from solar or from the grid, no difference to TAC. We get the power either way. So
Nice. Brian, here's a trivia question for you.
Who has the best coffee in Jackson? Because I know the answer to that.
No,
But
it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy question like that. What does TAC Manufacturing have in common with the Masters golf tournament?
I know this. Bart Hawley has attended both facilities in the last couple of weeks.
That is a true answer, but what we're looking for is you can't bring your cell phone in. They both have that in common.
Okay. Do I get credit for my answer too?
I'm giving you credit. Yeah, full credit.
Yes.
And tip of the hat too, last week we had wind and storm come through, 53-mile-an-hour winds in Jackson County. There were customers in northern Jackson County who lost power, and you had it back on in 2 hours. So that's pretty cool because you are pledging, that's your goal, to get everyone's power back on in 24 hours.
Yep. And we're getting early returns. I'm really proud of the team. They were amazing. Not only just getting the crews ready and restoring, but also the communications are getting much better so customers can actually see the estimates and actually count on them. And every single time we get one of these storms, we're getting better and better, which is exciting. We want customers to see the improvements we're making.
Awesome. Well, it's great hearing about the leadership of TAC in green energy and the partnership that you two have. And thanks for sharing it with us today.
I appreciate the invitation.
You bet. You can see the whole event from yesterday on jtv.tv and read more about it. Thanks to TAC Manufacturing Director Scott Sturgis and Senior Vice President, Chief Customer Officer at Consumers Energy, Brian Rich.